Hello, my name is Nicole Lobo. I'm going to be talking about effects of semantic constraint and negation on sentence completions. I worked on this project with Tessa Warren, Elena Albu, and Barbara Kaup. There's a puzzle in the negation literature. Comprehenders don't show N400s in sentences like a robin is not a bird, but they do show N400s in sentences like a robin is not a tree. This has led to the hypothesis that semantic associations or predictability always overwhelms negation, or that comprehenders aren't processing negation in these situations. In this project, we're using a closed task to shed light on whether negation might interact with semantic associations or predictability in influencing comprehenders' expectations for upcoming words. The current study is a follow-up of the study done by Albu and colleagues, who used a four-choice closed task to investigate the relationship between negation and plausibility. Albu and colleagues investigated how negation might interact with world and linguistic knowledge to influence the choice of continuation. Similar sentences had an agent, an affirmative or negated verb, and then the participants had to choose the direct object. There were four choices for the direct object: a plausible verb, a plausible word, which was a plausible direct object in the affirmative case, a weak world knowledge violation, which is plausible but less likely, a severe world knowledge violation, which is unlikely, and linguistic violation, which makes the sentence incoherent. Also, Albu and colleagues included between item manipulation of the sentence fragments to investigate whether the sources and degree of contextual constraint would affect the choice of completion. In the trio condition, the combination of the agent and the verb constrained the upcoming patient. The plausible completion was designed to be plausible but not highly predictable. For example, the child will eat the yogurt shellfish branch minivan. In this sentence, the agent and the verb are highlighted in purple. In the they condition, only the verb constrained the upcoming patient. The plausible completion was designed to be plausible but not highly predictable. For example, they will burn the clothes, photos, TV, rain. In the semantic association condition, there were strong associations among the agent, the verb, and the plausible continuations were highly predictable. For example, the farmer will drive the tractor, bus, tank, chair. Before I dive into the results, I also want to bring your attention that in experiment 3, the authors added boosters to the negative experimental sentences, such as, of course, obviously, certainly, definitely, the child will not eat the yogurt shellfish branch minivan. The boosters lowered the expectation that the sentence would be informative. Overall, across the experiments, we can see that there are strong plausibility effects in both the negative and affirmative conditions, such that the participants preferred to use the most plausible continuation. However, when the negative booster was included in these sentences, we see that people were less likely to choose the plausible answer and that there were significant differences between all the three item categories for all four word types. The takeaway here is that comprehenders' rates of choosing the most plausible word were not affected by the presence of negation without a negative booster. This seems to be another case, like the ERP example I started with, in which negation seems to not be affecting expectations. We investigated this more deeply using a more natural and less constrained task, a regular closed task on the items in the Albu et al. Study. Our measure of expectation was semantic constraint. We calculated mean pairwise LSA cosine values across all combinations of the set of words provided for each sentence. Higher values indicated that the set of provided words were more semantically similar. We ran a linear mixed effects model, which included Helmut-coded semantic constraint, Helmut-coded polarity, and their interaction as fixed effects. Experiment 2 is a direct replication of experiment 1. Experiment 1 showed reliable effects of polarity such that completions were more semantically related in the affirmative than the two negative conditions, and in the affirmative and negative conditions than in the negative booster condition. There was also a reliable interaction. The difference between the affirmative condition and the two negative conditions was smaller in the they item than in the semantic association in trio item. And the difference between the negative booster and the other two conditions was greater in the semantic association items than in the trio and they items. And experiment 2 fully replicated the effects in experiment 1. Overall results are consistent with Albo et al.'s findings in that the semantic constraints on the expected word are similar for the affirmative and negative conditions, especially in sentences with higher constraints, that is the semantic association condition. However, unlike Albo et al., we do show that semantic constraint is slightly decreased by negation. Negative boosters reduce semantic constraint on target, and in some, we see effects of both predictability and negation on semantic constraint when negation slightly reduces semantic constraint in predictable sentences. Thank you.